This story comes from a guy who sent it to me a few months ago. Here's what he wrote. I was house sitting for my sister while she and her family were on vacation. She's got 2 young kids, but they went with her, so the house was completely empty except for me. On my first night there, I was getting ready for bed around midnight. As I walked past the kids' bedroom, I noticed the baby monitor was still on. The camera was pointing at the empty crib, and the screen on the dresser showed the room. I was about to turn it off when I heard something through the speaker. Breathing. Not loud, but steady. In and out, like someone was standing right next to the camera. I froze. I looked at the monitor screen. The room was empty, but the breathing continued, clear as day. I went into the room and looked around, checked the closet, under the bed, behind everything. The room was completely empty, but when I listened to the monitor again, the breathing was still there. I thought maybe someone hacked into it. I'd heard stories about that happening with Wi-Fi cameras, so I unplugged it from the wall. The breathing stopped immediately. Just a glitch, I told myself, and went to bed. But at 3:17 a.m., I woke up to a sound coming from down the hall. A child's laughter, high-pitched and playful, coming from the kids' bedroom. My heart was pounding. I knew the house was empty. I had checked every room, every closet. There was no one else here. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. Slowly, I walked down the hall. The laughter had stopped, but now I could hear something else. Footsteps. Small footsteps, like a child running in circles. I pushed the door open and shined my light inside. Empty. But the baby monitor, the one I had unplugged hours ago, was on again. The screen was glowing and the camera was moving, panning slowly left to right, like someone was controlling it. I walked over and checked the plug. It was still unplugged, lying on the floor, but somehow the camera was on. On the monitor screen, I could see the room from the camera's view, and there, in the corner of the frame, I saw it. A shadow. Small, child-sized, standing in the corner where I couldn't see it with my own eyes, but it was right there on the camera. As I stared at the screen, the shadow started moving, walking across the room, getting closer to the camera, closer, closer. Then the camera turned and pointed directly at me. I was looking at myself on the screen, and standing right behind me in the frame was the shadow of a small child. I spun around. Nothing there. I looked back at the monitor. The shadow was gone. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. I sat in the living room with every light on until morning. When my sister came home, I told her everything.